Hello, my name is Priya. I want to share my story with you today. It is a simple story, but it is very special to me. It is about the first time I spoke English to a stranger, the first time I worked using English, the first time I felt confident. Maybe my story will help you too. Because 3 years ago, I was terrified of English. I studied it for 10 years in school, but I couldn't speak, not even one sentence. When someone spoke English to me, my mind went blank. My heart beat fast. My hands shook. I felt stupid. I felt embarrassed. I wanted to run away. But today, I speak English every day. I work in English. I dream in English. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So let me tell you my journey from the beginning. Let's start. Chapter 1. The day everything changed. My first English sentence. I live in a small town in India. I always liked English, but I never spoke it well. In school, we learned English, but we only read and wrote. We learned grammar rules. We memorized vocabulary lists. But we never talked. I wanted to speak. I wanted to talk to people in English, but I was too afraid. I thought, my pronunciation is bad, my grammar is wrong, people will laugh at me. So I stayed quiet. Then one day, everything changed. One day, I went to the market with my sister. We were buying fruit. There was a foreign man in the shop. He looked lost. He was trying to talk to the shopkeeper, but the shopkeeper didn't understand English. The man looked frustrated. Then he looked at me. He said, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" My heart started beating very fast. My mind said, "Say no, walk away, don't embarrass yourself." But another part of me said, "This is your chance, try." I remembered one sentence from school, just one simple sentence. I took a deep breath and said, "Yes, a little." He smiled, a big, kind smile. He said, "Where is the nearest bus stop?" I knew the place. I wanted to help him. I thought about the words carefully. Then I said, "Go straight, turn left, bus stop is near the bank." Simple words, short sentences, but I said them clearly. The man said, "Thank you very much." I said, "You are welcome." He walked away, and I just stood there shaking, but this time I was shaking with happiness. That moment changed my life. It was such a short conversation, only 2 sentences from me, but it was my first real conversation in English. I used my English to help someone. I communicated. I was understood. I felt proud. For the first time, I didn't feel stupid. I felt capable. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that moment. I decided, I want to speak more. I want to learn more. I don't want to be afraid anymore. What I did next. The next day, I started changing my life. I started watching English videos on YouTube, simple videos with subtitles. I listened to English songs. I read the lyrics while listening. I wrote new words in my notebook. Not long lists, just 5 to 10 words I heard that day. I practiced speaking with my sister. We asked each other simple questions. What is your name? How are you? What did you eat today? At first, we felt silly, but then it became fun. We were learning together. Then I found an English class. 1 month later, I found an English class in my town. I was nervous to join. I thought, everyone will be better than me. But I went anyway. My teacher was a kind man. His name was Mr. Sharma. On the first day, he said something I will never forget. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to speak. He asked us, "Why do you want to learn English?" I said, "I want to talk to people." He smiled and said, "That is the best reason. English is for communication. Don't worry about mistakes. Just use English every day." How the class was different. In this class, we didn't use many books. We talked a lot. We played games. We asked questions and answered them. We worked in pairs. We told small stories about our lives. Every day, I felt more confident. Mr. Sharma always said, "Don't learn only grammar. Don't try to be perfect. Just speak. Speak slowly. Speak simply. Speak every day." I remembered his words every day. I spoke even when I made mistakes, and it was okay. Nobody laughed. Everyone was learning together. My new friends. I also made friends in the class. We practiced together outside of class. We sent messages in English on WhatsApp. We shared jokes. We laughed. We helped each other. Learning became fun, not stressful. 1 month later, another victory. 1 month after joining the class, I went to a cafe. A woman from the UK was sitting near me. She accidentally spilled her coffee. I helped her clean it up. She said, "Thank you so much." I smiled and said, "No problem." She said, "Are you from here?" I said, "Yes, I live nearby." We talked for 5 minutes, just small talk about the town, the weather, her trip. Before she left, she said, "Your English is very nice." I said, "Thank you, I'm still learning." She said, "You're doing a great job. Keep going." That day, I felt incredible. I knew I still had a lot to learn, but I also knew I can speak, I can understand, I can connect with people. What I learned from my first sentence. That one moment in the market started everything. One sentence gave me confidence. One conversation changed my life. If you are learning English, I want to tell you this. Speak your first sentence today. Don't wait. Don't be shy. Just try. Start with 1 word, then 2 words, then a sentence. You will improve. Your first sentence can change your life too. Chapter 2. My first job using English every day. 3 months after starting my English class, I saw a job advertisement. A new cafe was opening in town. They needed workers. The advertisement said, "English speaking required." My first thought was, I can't do it. My English isn't good enough. But then I remembered Mr. Sharma's words. Don't wait to be perfect, just try. So I went to the interview. My first day at work. It was a Thursday morning, my first day at the cafe. I felt nervous. I woke up very early. I dressed nicely. I took a deep breath. When I arrived, a woman opened the door. She was the manager. She smiled and said, "Good morning. Are you Priya?" I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Come in. Let me show you around." She showed me the counter, the tables, the kitchen. She said, "You will take orders. You will serve food and drinks. You will clean tables." I said, "Okay." She said, "Don't worry, we will help you." I felt a little better. Meeting my co-worker. Then I met another worker. His name was David. He was from England. He was young and very friendly. He said, "Welcome to the team." I said, "Thank you." He said, "If you need help, just ask." I felt grateful for his kindness. Everything was new. At first, everything was confusing. I heard words I didn't know. Menu, order, tray, receipt, takeaway. I didn't ask what they meant. I just listened and watched, and slowly I understood. My first customer. A woman came to my table. She said, "Can I have a black coffee and a blueberry muffin, please?" I said, "Yes, of course." I went to the counter. I repeated the order to David. He made the coffee. I brought it to the woman with the muffin. I said, "Here you are." She said, "Thank you." I said, "You're welcome." I felt so happy. I spoke English. I helped someone. I did my job. Learning by doing. Every day at the cafe, I learned new words, not from a book, not from studying. I learned by hearing them again and again. I heard, "Would you like sugar?" "For here or take away." "Enjoy your meal." "Have a nice day." I heard these sentences 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, and they became automatic. I didn't think about grammar. I didn't translate in my head. I just spoke. Making mistakes was okay. Of course, I made mistakes. Sometimes I said, "You want sugar?" instead of, "Do you want sugar?" Sometimes I forgot words, but nobody laughed. The customers were kind. My manager was patient. David always helped me. They understood I was learning, and that gave me confidence to keep trying. Speaking English all day. At the cafe, I spoke English all day, with customers, with coworkers, with my manager. My brain got used to English. My mouth got used to the sounds. English stopped being scary. It became normal. What my teacher said. Every week, I went to English class after work. I told Mr. Sharma about my job. He said, "That is the best way to learn. You use English every day. You hear real English. You speak real English. This is better than any textbook." I felt proud. He told the whole class, "You don't need to learn all the words from a book. You learn best when you use English in real life." How I learned new words. Every evening after work, I went home tired, but I thought about my day. I thought about the words I heard, the things I said. Sometimes I looked up new words in a dictionary, but I didn't study much. I just remembered them because I used them. A new confidence. After 1 month of working, something changed inside me. When I spoke English, I felt strong. I felt capable. I didn't feel embarrassed anymore. I didn't feel like my English was bad. I felt like I was learning, and that was enough. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to speak better, but I wasn't afraid anymore. What I learned from working. If you want to improve your English, try to use it every day. Find a job where you speak English, or find a place where English is spoken. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to know every word. You just need to try and practice and not give up. This is what worked for me. Chapter 3. The day I started speaking with confidence. After working at the cafe for 2 months, I noticed something. I could understand English well. I could find the right words, but my pronunciation wasn't good. Sometimes customers didn't understand me. I had to repeat myself. This made me feel embarrassed again. I asked David, "How can I improve my pronunciation?" He said, "Listen to native speakers. Copy how they speak. Practice every day." I discovered shadowing. The next day in class, Mr. Sharma taught us a technique called shadowing. He said, "Shadowing means listening to English and repeating it immediately. You copy the speaker like a shadow." He showed us how. Step 1. Find a short English video or audio. Step 2. Listen to one sentence. Step 3. Repeat it immediately, trying to sound exactly like the speaker. Step 4. Do this again and again. He said, "This will train your mouth, your tongue, your lips. You will learn how to make English sounds correctly." I tried it immediately. That evening, I went home and tried shadowing. I found a short interview on YouTube. The speaker talked slowly and clearly. I listened to one sentence. "My name is Sarah, and I'm from London." I repeated, "My name is Sarah, and I'm from London." I said it 5 times. Each time I tried to sound more like her. Then I moved to the next sentence. It felt strange at first, but then it became fun. Practicing in the mirror. Mr. Sharma also told us, "Practice in front of a mirror. Watch how your mouth moves." So I did. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror. I played the video on my phone. I watched my mouth. I saw how I formed the sounds. When I said th, I put my tongue between my teeth. When I said I curved my tongue back. I looked silly, but I was learning. Results at work. The next day at the cafe, I felt different. A customer said, "Can I have a cappuccino, please?" Before, I would have said cappuccino, wrong, but now I said cappuccino, correct. The customer understood me immediately. Another customer said, "Your English is very clear." I felt so proud. Daily shadowing practice. Every morning before work, I did shadowing for 10 minutes. I found short clips, news reports, simple interviews, English stories. I listened, I repeated, I copied the voice. My pronunciation improved every single day. Speaking to myself. I also started talking to myself in English. When I walked to work, I said, "I am walking to work. The sky is blue today. I see a dog." When I cleaned tables at the cafe, I said, "This table is clean. I am wiping the counter." My coworkers thought I was crazy, but I didn't care. I was training my mouth to speak English automatically. Recording myself. Mr. Sharma suggested, record your voice, listen to it, compare it with native speakers. So I started recording myself on my phone. I read simple stories out loud. Then I listened. I heard my mistakes. Some words I pronounced wrong. Some sentences I spoke too fast. Some sounds I didn't make correctly. Then I practiced those specific words again and again. The next recording was always better. What I learned about pronunciation. Good pronunciation is not about being perfect. It's about listening carefully, repeating often, not being afraid to sound strange, and practicing every day. After 3 months of daily shadowing and speaking practice, customers understood me easily. I felt more confident, and speaking English became natural. Pronunciation is not talent, it's practice. If you want to speak clearly, do shadowing every day, even 5 to 10 minutes. Talk to yourself in English. Record your voice and listen. Practice the sounds that are difficult for you. Don't give up. This is how I learned to speak English with confidence. Chapter 4. Learning grammar without studying grammar. One Saturday morning, I wasn't working. I sat in my room thinking. Mr. Sharma once said, "You can learn grammar without studying grammar books." I didn't believe him at first, but now I understand what he meant. Reading stories. I started reading simple English stories on my phone. I found a story about a girl and her cat. The story was easy. I understood almost every word. As I read, I noticed how sentences were built. The story said, Every morning she feeds her cat. Then later, yesterday she fed her cat at 6 a.m. I saw the difference: feeds, present, and fed, past. I didn't study the rule, but I understood it from the example. Learning by noticing. I read more stories. I noticed patterns. When talking about now, is, are, go, play. When talking about the past, was, were, went, played. These examples helped me more than any grammar book, because I saw grammar in action, not in tables. Hearing grammar at work. At the cafe, I heard grammar all day. My manager said, "He is making a sandwich." Present continuous. She made 3 coffees. Past simple. They have been working since morning. Present perfect continuous. I didn't know the grammar names, but I heard them so many times that I understood when to use them. My ears learned the patterns. Using an online resource. Mr. Sharma told us about a website, grammarly.com, or similar free resources. I visited it. I chose beginner-level lessons. Each lesson had short explanations, simple examples, and practice exercises. For example, a lesson about present simple said, "She likes tea. He plays football. I go to school." I already knew these sentences from reading and listening. Now I just understood why we say likes and not like. The grammar made sense because I had already seen it in real English. Speaking about my day. On Sunday, I practiced speaking to myself in front of the mirror. I talked about my day. Today is Sunday. I don't work today. I woke up at 8 a.m. I ate breakfast. Then I watched TV. Then I talked about yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday. I worked at the cafe. I spoke to many customers. I made coffee, and I cleaned tables. I used past tense naturally. I didn't think about grammar rules. I just spoke. Shadowing for grammar. I also used shadowing for grammar. I found a video of a girl talking about her weekend. I listened to her sentences. I went shopping. I bought new shoes. I met my friend for lunch. Then I repeated exactly what she said. By copying her sentences, I learned the correct grammar patterns automatically. A small test at school. On Monday, Mr. Sharma gave us a small test. He read sentences, and we had to say if they were present or past tense. I got almost all answers right. I felt surprised. I hadn't studied grammar rules at all, but I had read stories, listened to English, spoken every day, done shadowing, and the grammar came naturally. Mr. Sharma said, "You are all learning grammar the way babies learn their first language, through exposure and practice, not through memorization." What I learned about grammar. You don't need to memorize grammar rules. You don't need thick grammar books. What you need is Read simple English stories, notice the patterns, listen to English every day, your ears will learn, speak about your life, use the grammar you've heard, do shadowing, copy correct sentences. Grammar will come to you naturally, just like it came to me. When you use English every day, grammar becomes automatic. You don't think about rules. You just know what sounds right. That's real fluency. Chapter 5. Speaking when you have nobody to speak with. It was Tuesday morning. I went to school excited for class. Mr. Sharma said, "Today we will talk about speaking practice." One student raised his hand and said, "I want to practice speaking, but I have nobody to speak with." Many students nodded. This was a common problem. Mr. Sharma smiled and said, "You don't always need another person to practice speaking." The power of self-talk. He explained, "You can talk to yourself. This is called self-talk." He gave examples. "I am brushing my teeth. I am making breakfast. I am walking to school." He said, "Talk about what you're doing, talk about what you see, talk about your thoughts." This idea changed everything for me. Recording yourself. Mr. Sharma also said, "Record your voice, listen to it, hear your mistakes, then try again." He said, "Don't be afraid. Nobody will hear it but you. This is practice just for you." I liked this idea. A speaking game in class. We played a speaking game in class. We worked in pairs. We asked and answered questions. My partner asked, "What do you like to eat?" I said, "I like rice and vegetables." I asked, "What do you do on weekends?" He said, "I play cricket with my friends." Mr. Sharma walked around and listened. He said, "Very good. Keep speaking." I felt more confident every minute. Speaking to myself. After school, I walked to the cafe. I started speaking to myself quietly. I looked around and described what I saw. This is a street. That is a car. A dog is running. People are walking. It felt strange at first, but nobody heard me, so I didn't care. I was training my brain to think in English. Speaking at work. At the cafe, I spoke to customers all day. Simple sentences. What would you like? Here is your coffee. Enjoy your meal. I didn't worry about mistakes. I knew practice would help me. One customer talked to me more. She asked, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from India." She said, "Your English is really nice." I said, "Thank you. I'm still learning." We spoke for 2 minutes about my town. I felt so proud. Speaking in the mirror. After work, I went home. I stood in front of the mirror and talked about my day. Today, I went to school. I learned about speaking practice. Then I went to work. I made many coffees. I spoke to a kind customer. I watched myself speak. I listened to my words. If I made a mistake, I repeated the sentence correctly. The mirror became my practice partner. Finding a practice partner. I called my classmate Anna. She was from Spain. I said, "Do you want to practice English with me on the phone?" She said, "Yes, I need practice too." We talked for 10 minutes. We asked simple questions. What did you do today? What did you eat for lunch? Do you have any hobbies? We spoke slowly. We made mistakes, but we helped each other. It was fun. Shadowing before sleeping. Before sleeping, I did shadowing again. I played a short English story. I listened to one sentence, then I repeated it immediately. I copied the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation. This became my daily habit. Speaking became automatic. After 2 months of daily speaking practice, talking to myself, speaking at work, practicing with Anna, doing shadowing, recording my voice, speaking in English became automatic. I didn't have to think hard about grammar. I didn't translate from my language. The words just came out. What I learned about speaking practice. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to speak only in class. You can practice anytime, anywhere. Talk to yourself about your day. Describe what you see around you. Speak in front of a mirror. Record your voice and listen. Call a friend and practice together. Do shadowing with videos. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak every single day. This is how I learned to speak English confidently, and you can do it too. Chapter 6. The Power of Listening Every Day. It was Thursday morning. I woke up early. I remembered what Mr. Sharma said. If you want to speak well, you must listen a lot. I decided to make listening a daily habit. My first listening session. I took my phone. I searched for simple English story. I found a 3-minute story about a boy and a dog. The speaker talked slowly and clearly. First time, I just listened. I didn't understand everything, but I understood the main idea. Second time, I listened again. Now I understood more words. Third time, I listened and repeated some sentences. After 3 times, I understood the whole story. I felt happy. I learned new words just by listening. What my teacher said. At school, Mr. Sharma said, "Listening is the most important skill for learning English." He explained, "Listening helps your speaking, listening helps your pronunciation, listening helps your grammar, listening helps everything." He said, "Listen to English every day, stories, news, conversations. You don't have to understand every word, just listen and enjoy." The 3-time listening method. Mr. Sharma taught us a method. First listen, just listen. Don't stop, get the general idea. Second listen, try to understand more. Notice new words. Third listen, repeat after the speaker. Shadowing. This method made listening easy and effective. Listening at school. Mr. Sharma played an audio in class. It was a girl talking about her family. "My name is Emily. I live with my parents and my brother. My brother is older than me. He is 25 years old." We listened 3 times. Then we repeated after her. I understood everything. I felt proud. Listening while walking. After school, I put my earphones in. I played an English podcast while walking home. The speakers talked about food and travel. I didn't understand every word, but I understood the main ideas. I heard one speaker say, "I really enjoy trying new food." I repeated it quietly. I really enjoy trying new food. The sentence stuck in my mind. Listening at home. At home, I ate lunch. Then I got ready for work. While getting ready, I played a YouTube video. It was about a woman who loves animals. She talked about her cat and dog. She spoke clearly and slowly. I understood her well. I listened twice. Then I wrote down new words. Pet, feed, animal lover. I said each word out loud. I used them in sentences. I am an animal lover. I want a pet. I feed my cat every day. Learning words by listening and speaking made them easy to remember. Listening at work. At the cafe, I listened to customers all day. I heard the same phrases again and again. Can I have? I would like. Do you have? My ears got used to these patterns. My brain learned the natural way people speak English. Listening before sleep. Every night before sleeping, I listened to English for 15 minutes, sometimes a story, sometimes a podcast, sometimes a song. I didn't study, I just listened and relaxed. My brain absorbed English even when I was sleepy. Progress after 1 month. After 1 month of daily listening, I understood people faster. I didn't ask, "Can you repeat?" so often. I could answer questions quickly. I felt more confident in conversations. My ears had adapted to English. My brain recognized the sounds. English didn't sound like noise anymore. It sounded like language. What I learned about listening. If you want to speak English well, first listen a lot. Listen every day. Even 10-15 minutes makes a difference. What to listen to? Simple English stories, podcasts for beginners, YouTube videos, songs, read the lyrics while listening, conversations. How to listen? First time, just enjoy and understand the main idea. Second time, listen for new words. Third time, repeat after the speaker, shadowing. Where to listen? While cooking, while walking, while cleaning, before sleeping, on the bus. Use your time wisely. Turn waiting time into learning time. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just keep listening. Every day you will understand more. This is how I learned English by listening, and it really works. My message to you. This is my English journey. From being too afraid to speak one sentence to working in English every day. From not understanding anything to having conversations with confidence. I am not special. I am not a genius. I am just a regular person who decided to try. What made the difference? These things helped me the most. Speaking my first sentence, even though I was scared. Working at the cafe, using English every single day. Shadowing, practicing pronunciation daily. Reading simple stories, learning grammar naturally. Talking to myself, practicing when alone. Listening every day, training my ears. Not worrying about mistakes, just keep trying. Having a good teacher, Mr. Sharma changed my life. Making friends, learning became fun. Not giving up, even when it was hard. My English is not perfect. Even now, my English is not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still have an accent. But I can communicate. I can work. I can connect with people. And that's all that matters. If I can do it, you can too. 3 years ago, I couldn't speak one sentence. Today, I just told you my whole story in English. If I can do it, you can do it too. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until your grammar is perfect. Start today. Speak one sentence. Listen to one story. Practice for 10 minutes. Every day, do a little bit, and slowly you will transform. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspired you. Remember, your first sentence can change your life, so speak it today. Good luck on your English journey. You can do this.